and welcome to Fast Fact Friday. This is Michelle with Revolutionary Resume. As always, coming to you live to update you on the job market, give you some career tips and tricks. So before we get into the weeds on everything, if you could share this video, give me a like, give me a follow, invite your friends. It would be much appreciated. It helps us keep coming with this content. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is around layoffs. And look at this. Look at this. Disney plans to lay off as many as 1,000 employees. They did their big restructuring with their new CEO several years ago, and that was 7,000 people laid off. Now we're doing another 1,000. Snap is a tech employer. They are cutting 1,000 jobs. You and I might know this more as Snapchat. So they are citing AI, and they released the memo to staff. So that's 2,000 people just between Snapchat and Disney. One of the things, this is going to be my first tip of the week. There will be two this week. Spreadsheets. How do they help you organize your job search? When I was job hunting, literally had a column for, date I applied, employer, title of the role, if I did a phone interview, yes or no, and when that was, if I sent my thank you after the phone interview, etc., etc., etc. So that helped me keep track too of thank yous and follow-ups. If I hadn't heard from them after a week, then I followed up. But one of the things that popped out to me from this article that was just really jarring to see it just laid out like that. Yes, spreadsheets will keep you organized and stop you from double applying to the same role you just applied to or what have you. But they talked about how many jobs total were created in 24 and how many jobs total were created in 25. And it was 1.46 million in 2024, and it was 116,000 last year. And that is not a mistake. 116,000. That was pretty jarring for me. So if you're on the job hunt, stay strong, but it's not just you. There's not a lot of jobs created. If you have a job, make sure if you're looking, make sure you have something firm before you jump. One of the things, that graphic didn't come through. So hiring hasn't really rebounded, and they're talking about those in the job market that it's in a hiring recession, like it's new. After the rebound, when everybody rehired for COVID, after COVID closures and things reopened, things leveled off and it dropped significantly after that. And things have been bad since the end of 23. So I don't know where this new jobs recession thing is coming from. It has been a super, super rough market. So again, give yourself some grace out there. It is tough. Wow, none of my graphics worked right today. This is fun. The future of hiring was supposed to be what that was. And we talked about the spreadsheets. There we go. Hey. This is my fun story for the day. So before we get started on what this whole thing was, I would like to tell you about another tip and trick. So 2 of my clients this week have had Yahoo addresses. Both clients reached out and said, hey, I didn't get my stuff in time. Yahoo sends literally everything with a link, which of course I include my Google link for a business review, and everything with an attachment, which of course, your resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn optimization, all that's going to be attachments, automatically sends it to spam if that person is not in your address book. So if you are applying to jobs, a lot of surveys and questionnaires and interview things that you're getting are coming as links and or attachments. I would highly recommend switching out to a Gmail. Make sure, of course, then you update your resume with the Gmail. That kind of filter is too heavy and you will miss important things. And I don't want you to miss those things. Luckily with my clients, we got it figured out. We even I hopped on after hours on a video call with one of our people to try and figure out where it went. So this was an interesting story, and it was the person writing into Slate, who is kind of a middle manager, and they're running a location. And these two ladies that work in the office, one is a little older. Her name was, I believe they gave the name Jill in the story. And Jill was a really hard worker, and she was in her low 40s. She owned a nice beach house, never had kids. That'll be relevant shortly. And just overall was really top tier. The other associate was in her lower 30s. Her work ethic was okay. She had kids, so she missed some. Not a huge deal, but like the level that she was performing at would be easily replaceable. And she loved to make rude remarks about the other lady. Well, you don't have kids, so it must be easy for you, like all the time. So it started to wear on that person, and the atmosphere in the office started to get a little bit less productive because of the constant berating of this other person for different life choices. I mean, yes, we would all love to have a beach house. Don't yell at your coworker who has the beach house. So then, since this coworker is like a half mile from the beach, she knocked on her door one day with her kids in tow, all three of them, and asked if they could use the bathroom. I mean, they're not really close at work, and that's kind of awkward, but what are you going to say no to a kid who needs to use the bathroom? So she let her. This lady broke, or one of her kids, whoever, broke something very expensive in this person's bathroom and took off quickly. So didn't even own up to it. The person went right in. Jill saw it was broken, came back into work, and Jill was demanding this person be fired because it was clearly she was trying to retaliate in some way. And the guy can't fire her for something that happened off the clock, right? And that's what his HR told him, and that's what Slate's advice was, but they gave him some steps he could do because of the poor work performance and all that. If he has all that documented, his HR could fire the other worker for that. But Jill said it's her or me, and we have no update on the story. But could you imagine being constantly poked and prodded by somebody who was just jealous of whatever you worked to attain because they didn't have it, and bringing that into the workplace? That's never a good look for anyone. So don't do that. Don't do that ever. I feel sorry for the poor guy who's the manager trying to mitigate the whole team. He did state in the article or in the letter to Slate, that they were not going to hit their numbers because the productivity has dropped so bad because of the tension. And, started by the one young lady, but now Jill has had it up to here, and she is also over it. So it's not a great situation. Don't do that, please. So that's all I have for this week. I will be coming to you live next week very briefly. I'm at an event next weekend, and I'm really excited about it. So I will have just a few moments just before noon to say hi. If you have any stories you'd like me to share, anonymously, of course, and or questions, please reach out via Facebook, LinkedIn, what have you, and I will make sure we get those addressed and get your answers. Take care. Bye-bye.